Good morning.
One morning in Tajikistan, I wake up in my tent after having spent the night camping out by the river. I don't know it yet, but in the next few hours I would go through a frustrating low and the highest of the highs. And all of that before lunchtime, which is not uncommon on a journey like this.
Where was the place? Over there.
I packed up my tent and made my way back to the valley track I was following, by now having ventured far away from the main road. The day before, I had entered the Bartang Valley, which would turn out to be one of the most inhospitable routes in Tajikistan. Until then, I had ridden a handful of off-road routes throughout various countries, but this was my most ambitious attempt at riding off the beaten path. Located in the Pamir Mountains, in an area known as the Gorno-Badakhshan Autonomous Region. This ex-Soviet country sits in one of the most mountainous regions of the world, landlocked between countries like Afghanistan and China. Every year, this 300-kilometer mountain route through the Pamirs gets snowed in, and come springtime, many sections have to be rebuilt once the torrents of meltwater have subsided. I noticed that I didn't have a lot of water left, but figured that at some point there should be a village or maybe a clean river where I could refill the empty bottles. I decided that breakfast could wait until then. As I ride deeper into the mountain range, my surroundings and the track itself switch from wild to even wilder. The riverside road hugging the mountain slope, going up and down as new mountain peaks revealed themselves around every corner. The surface switching between rocks and soft sand would make some of the sections hard work. Not being fully awake yet, I sometimes had to remind myself to pay attention.
Careful, dude.
All of this before breakfast. On a section where the valley widens up a bit, I noticed a small suspension bridge across the river. As I ride past it, I suddenly notice a little Soviet van parked near that same bridge. Almost missed it, since its beige color made it blend in perfectly with its surroundings. I figured that the bridge could lead to a village where I could ask for some water. Let's park the bike and do a bit of exploring.
It's pretty small. I hope someone's here.
Same with these houses.
They're locked from outside. No one's here in this village. I think everybody's out herding.
I followed the track to a place that could barely be considered a village, but to my surprise and slight dismay, there was nobody there.
Walk back, get going again. Try not to fuck up for the next 15 kilometers. This is all I got left.
Still thirsty, still hungry, and I've just spent this energy walking in the ever-increasing heat. After all, we're pretty close to the sun up here. Time to keep going, and I thought to myself, better not mess up on the way until I find some water. While backing up on the rocks, I misplaced my foot. Classic. And in slow motion, I dropped the bike sideways. What do you know? I messed up. A self-fulfilled prophecy. Anyway, so now I've got to pick up the motorcycle, knowing I'll probably have to take off the panniers and other baggage. Doesn't stop me from first trying to take the easy route. Being thirsty and on an empty stomach doesn't help when you need to spend energy. But the most important thing I learned that day was how much harder it is to pick something up at around 3,500 meters. Muscles love oxygen, and at altitude, there is a lot less of it to go around. So I managed to fix my mess by picking up the motorcycle and stubbornly spent twice as much energy trying to pick her up in one go to save time and energy. Funny how that goes.
What a mess. And all this before breakfast. Let's get this shit back on. Worst decision ever going to that village.
Let's go to the next village, for real now, and I'm still very much focused on my current hydro mission. though I couldn't help but become more and more in awe with my surroundings. The ride out here was becoming the adventure which I had hoped for when I left the Netherlands months ago. Finally, I stumble on a village, in a green oasis on a small mountain plateau, where in any direction the view was breathtakingly wild. Probably only 2 or 3 families live there, or maybe they're all just one big family. The current generations of a lineage who for who knows how long have had this forgotten spot in the world all to themselves. Something I like to do in remote places is walk up to a house and ask if someone could maybe cook me up a breakfast, which I would then pay for, of course. To give you an idea of the experience, I've got some footage from a village further down in the valley, where they invited me for lunch later that day.
Another delicious meal has been prepared here by my friend and his mother. What is the name of this village here?
Yeah, Roos.
Roos.
The name is Roos.
Roos.
Yes.
It is a nice kartoffel dish.
Yes.
And
Is vegetables is problems, not just problems. Vegetables.
looks delicious.
After that power brekkie, energy levels rose back up, all satisfied and my water bottles refilled.
I'm a real fat cat. And this place is just gorgeous, humbling.
This was when the immense beauty and the wildness of the region really hit me, amplified by having just met these kind and humble locals after riding into one of the most remote corners of the world, all on my lonesome.
On just one morning, the low you can get and then the high you can get. Like extremes. It's brilliant.
I knew then and there that this is what it's all about, and this whole day would turn out to be a defining moment on this journey, which I talked about in a previous video. I was impressed by how life on the road could be so intense sometimes. One moment, you're busy overcoming a frustrating low, and the next, you're experiencing a blissful high.
It's unbelievable here. This is insane.
Life in its most concentrated form, something which is not uncommon on a journey like this.